If you're looking to buy a new SUV this year, there's a good chance that one of these, a Mazda CX-5, will be on your shopping list.
About 25,000 of these are sold every year, making this one of the most popular vehicles in Australia. And like most manufacturers, Mazda has a mind-boggling number of variants to choose from.
Luckily for buyers, we're here to help. We've assembled 6 versions of the new generation CX-5 so you can make the right decision when it comes to choosing your next SUV.
And we'll even choose one of these to be our pick of the bunch. This is the CarAdvice Mazda CX-5 range review. Mazda has chosen to offer 12 variants of the new CX-5, and although that might seem excessive, we think it's warranted, because this has been the best-selling SUV in Australia since 2012 when the first generation model launched. This second generation uses the same platform and drivetrains as its successful predecessor, but with much sharper design for the exterior and significant improvements inside.
As you can see, we don't have all 12 examples here, but we've got a cross-section of the versions available to you, from the entry-level Maxx all the way up to the top-end Akera.
We're going to start with the base model, which is called the Maxx. It's also the only one you can get with a manual transmission coupled to a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine driven via the front wheels. Now, of course, there are other engine and drivetrain choices available, but we'll get to that soon.
Hang on, do they really think that anyone's going to buy a base model manual? Surely there won't be that many buyers out there. I mean, there might be a few who are attracted to the price. It is the cheapest at $28,690.
You know, that's pretty good pricing for this car. I guess I'll jump in and see if it stacks up. Dude, this is an automatic.
Well, that's probably for the best.
If you option up the 6-speed automatic on this base model Maxx, it does push the price at just over $30,000. However, the 2-litre engine in this car really isn't that bad. Well, depending on what you're going to use it for. So if all you're going to do is drive around the city and in the suburbs, it's perfectly suited to the job. This particular car has got $350 optioned up on the wheels, which gives you really nice alloys compared to those awful Steelies. Plus, for an extra $500, you can actually get sat-nav. So the difference between this Maxx and the Maxx Sport really isn't that much in terms of features or price. The level of standard safety kit in this car is actually very impressive. You get autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert, as well as the stuff that you just need every single day, like the parking sensors and the reversing camera. Those safety items are some of the key specification talking points for the Maxx. And there's also city emergency braking that works both in drive and in reverse. Other standard kit stuff includes LED headlights, a 40-20-40 rear folding seat, and a 7-inch MZD Connect infotainment system with a rotary dial. There's Bluetooth telephony and audio streaming, as well as digital radio and push-button start.
So mate, does it stack up? I mean, it's got a fair bit of standard kit.
Yeah, look, as far as value for money goes, I think it's a pretty good deal, and that engine is adequate for what it's supposed to do, but the car certainly lacks personality. So, look, if you keep your expectations low, I think it's pretty good. If buyers are as impressed with this base spec level as we are, they may even go for the bigger 2.5-litre 4-cylinder engine with all-wheel drive. That drivetrain pushes the price up to $33,690, but on first impressions, that seems like a bit of a bargain.
Let's see how that stacks up against the next model up the range, the very popular Maxx Sport. It adds 17-inch alloy wheels, satellite navigation, auto headlights and wipers, an auto-dimming rear-view mirror, dual-zone climate control, 2 rear USB inputs, and rear air vents. The previous generation version didn't even get them in the flagship, so I guess that's some sort of progress.
So if you step up to the Maxx Sport, you lose the manual transmission. So I suppose Mazda would call that more premium, right? You do get 3 engine choices though, that 2-litre petrol we had in the base car, plus now a 2.5 and a 2.2-litre diesel, both of which come with all-wheel drive. Now the range does start at $34,390 for the base model petrol, but you need to spend an extra $6,000 for the diesel.
Well, how about we drive the Maxx Sport now? This one's got the 2.5-litre engine, so you should be able to tell the difference between the 2-litre and this. 60% of CX-5 buyers will choose that engine. It's the most popular one. How about you drive, see if you can pick the differences.
Let's do it. You know, the 2-litre engine in the other car I was just driving is perfectly suited to what this car is made for. I mean, this is just a city runabout SUV. It's going to go to Coles, it's going to take the kids to school. It doesn't really need a bigger engine and all-wheel drive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get that, but we both know that this is a better engine. You've got better response, better performance, and you don't have that hesitancy. When you're on a country road, for example, and you go to overtake a truck, you're not going to worry about it with a 2.5. You might be a little bit hesitant when you've got the 2-litre because it's got that less power and the gearbox might not be as quick to react.
Yeah, look, I agree, and it does seem to make a lot more noise because it's always stuck in a lower gear. But driving around town, I mean, I can't really tell the difference between the all-wheel drive and the front-wheel drive. I mean, unless you're going to take this car on a beach, it doesn't make that much sense to me.
Mate, you've got to remember that 80% of Australian roads are unsealed. So if you think outside the city for once in your life, maybe you'd understand that there are buyers out there that all-wheel drive matters to. So we've got to agree, come on. This is a better drivetrain.
Look, I know, I'm just talking about if you're on a budget, you shouldn't be disappointed with going with the front-wheel drive 2-litre.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
This variant is expected to attract a fair bit of buyer attention, and with good reason. But in the next model up the range, the Touring, you get noticeably more features that help make a strong case for upgrading from the Maxx Sport, with just a little bit more outlay.
On paper at least, it seems like the sweet spot, with the Touring featuring a head-up display, heated side mirrors, black fake leather and suede trim, advanced keyless entry, front parking sensors, and traffic sign recognition. The Touring is where the range goes all-wheel drive only. There's the choice of the 2.5-litre petrol or a 2.2-litre diesel. I'm going to drive the diesel and see what it's like. The turbo diesel engine has the most torque and it's the most frugal. The claim is 6 litres per 100 kilometres, where the small petrol engine will use 6.9 litres and the bigger petrol engine with all-wheel drive will use 7.5 litres. But if you think that buying the diesel engine will save you money on fuel, you should think again. That extra outlay when you buy the car will take about 170,000 kilometres for you to recoup. So keep that in mind. It isn't quite as quick as the 2.5-litre petrol for on-the-go acceleration, but some people will appreciate the fact that you do get that extra turbocharged push from a standstill. And while it is a little bit louder than the petrol engines, most people really won't see the ultimate benefit of the diesel drivetrain for the extra money. All the models we've driven so far have the 17-inch wheel package, and we can assure you that that means that they ride better than the models further up the range with the bigger 19-inch wheels. But no matter which model you choose, as long as it's got all-wheel drive, you'll have the assuredness of extra traction through corners. The drivetrain choice remains the same for the second from top model, the GT. It has a choice of the 2.5 petrol and the 2.2 diesel, and you can clearly differentiate it from the less expensive models from the outside.
It has 19-inch alloy wheels, an electric tailgate, a sunroof, leather trim in black or white, a 10-speaker Bose stereo system, electric seat adjustment for both front seats, head-up display on the windscreen, and adaptive front headlights. The extra equipment doesn't come at a huge cost. The GT is $44,390 for the petrol and $47,390 for the diesel.
So now we've driven all three drivetrains, and I think we both agree on which one makes the most sense for the car. But now we've got to consider the flagship model, the Akera.
So what exactly makes this the flagship? I mean, it's $47,000 for the petrol and 50 grand for the diesel. And as far as I'm concerned, dude, this looks exactly the same as the $35,000 Maxx Sport.
Oh look, it's got 19-inch alloys.
So does the GT.
Yeah, okay, so maybe it's what's inside that counts with this one. The Akera has radar cruise control, adaptive LED headlights, driver drowsiness detection, a lane departure warning system with lane keeping assist, and high-speed autonomous braking.
Yeah, look, nice, but I gotta be honest, I am a little bit disappointed with how much money you have to spend just to get the active safety stuff. And frankly, considering the standard safety kit in the base model Maxx, I think the Akera is a bit of a superfluous variant.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna buy a top spec, you really should stop at the GT, because you get all the great things. You get the bigger wheels, you get the best leather seats, and you get the Bose stereo system. So that car doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, look, I think the GT is a great model, but it is a big spend. $5,400 more over the equivalent Touring. And we know that that's a pretty well-spec car. But if we're talking value for money, How about a Maxx Sport with a 2-litre engine? That could be a real bargain. Not for me though. I don't think I could deal with that 2-litre. I like the 2.5. I think with the all-wheel drive, it's the ideal drivetrain for the CX-5.
Yeah, look, I probably disagree with you about that 2-litre. I think it's perfectly suited for what it's supposed to do. However, I think the touring is the one to go for as far as the spec and value for money equation works. And since it's only available with that 2.5-litre all-wheel drive, I think it's my pick of the bunch.
Well, I didn't think we'd agree, but there you have it. We have. So the winner of the second generation Mazda CX-5 range review is the 2.5-litre Touring. Let us know what you think though. Have we got it wrong or have we got it right? Tell us in the comments section below and stay tuned for the single car review of the Touring at CarAdvice.com.